Okay, yeah. Sachin, Shubham. Okay, okay. So let me introduce myself. My name is Yogesh. I'm having total 15 years experience. So currently, I'm working as a cloud architect. I have done the multiple migrations from on-premises to Azure, Azure to Azure, and from different cloud to Microsoft Azure as well. And I'm from infrastructure background. I worked on multiple infrastructure components like Active Directory, DNS, DSCP, VMware, Citrix, all the VMware products, physical data center migrations as well, physical data centers designs as well. And into the Azure, I have total 5 years experience out of 15 years. Okay. So let me share my screen and let's understand like what is cloud, how it works, and then I'll demonstrate the course content like which we are going to cover. So let me share my screen. Yeah.
Yes, Yogesh.
Okay, perfect. So what we are going to do now, so I have actually I have designed two modules, okay, and those two modules you need to do, okay, as per your experience or as per your knowledge. Let's go into the uh, MS Paint, okay. So actually I have designed two different modules, okay. Into the first module, AZ900 and AZ104. AZ900 is nothing but it's a fundamental. AZ104 is the admin, and advanced topic along with the AZ305 where I'm going to take some DevOps part, okay, some Terraform, scripting, okay. So few advanced topics I have covered into a advanced topics, okay, which is comes under AZ305. So if you have more than 6-7 years experience, so my recommendation here is you should go with the advanced topics as well. Okay, so let's understand first what is cloud. First we will understand what is the requirement of cloud. Now everyone is using on-premises data center, everyone is deploying their infrastructure into their physical data center. So first we need to understand the case study why we need a cloud, and then we will understand what is cloud. So let's go into the diagram and let's understand what is cloud. So before understanding the cloud, you need to understand physical data center, how it works, and then we will understand the case study, like why we need a cloud into the first scenario. So three scenarios we are going to discuss here, like why we need the cloud, what is the requirement into the cloud, and why people are moving towards cloud. Everyone is migrating their infrastructure, everyone is trying to set up their IT infrastructure on cloud platform. It can be Azure, it can be a AWS, it can be a Google. So when you deal with the on-premises data center, okay, so you will see the multiple components. Let's start with the storages. So this is the storage we have. This is the storage. FC SAN. Okay, so this is a sandbox. When you deal with the physical data center, okay, you will see the sandbox. FC stands for fiber channel, where we are getting the good throughput, okay, good speed. Then you will get multiple physical racks into the data center. Okay, so there are multiple physical racks, and inside the rack you will get physical servers. It can be a blade server or it can be a rack server as per the business needs, business requirement. Let's take up example of rack server only. So this is the rack server we have. Let's take an example of Dell rack server. Dell rack server, okay. And top up of physical hardware, you will see the virtualization layer. Any virtualization layer, it can be a VMware product, it can be a Citrix product, it can be a Microsoft Hyper-V product. But now people are using a virtualization. Without virtualization, people are not deploying their infrastructure, because now virtualization is a proven technology. Okay, so around 15 years back, okay, all the customers have migrated their infrastructure into a virtualization platform. Okay, they have performed P2V, okay, physical to virtual, and now they are planning to perform virtual to cloud. Okay, so this is the virtualization layer, and let's take an example of VMware product. VMware ESXi is a virtualization product. Normally people are using into a data center to virtualize their infrastructure, and top up of that you will see the multiple virtual machines. You will see the multiple virtual machines here. multiple virtual machines. So this is the virtual machine. So this is the VM. And same type of VM we are going to deploy into the cloud systems as well. This is the virtual machine. This is the virtual machine. Top of virtual machine, there will be a operating system. Any OS, it can be a Windows, it can be Linux. And top of operating system, you will see the actual application. Okay, so application here. Okay, so this is the storage layer, this is the compute layer. From compute layer we are getting the compute like CPU, memory. Okay, we are getting from the hardware, and now the complete infrastructure is getting connected to the network infrastructure. So there will be a network. So this is the network switches. Network 1, network 2, and all physical servers are getting connected into a network. So each server is getting connected to the two network switches to maintain the redundancy from the network side. So this is the infrastructure we will get, or we can see into the physical data center. Important part, important component, and that component will be the firewall. So now into the physical data center, you will see the firewall in front of our infrastructure. So this is the firewall. This is the firewall, and the particular firewall is getting deployed in front of our IT infrastructure. So what I wanted to highlight, all the network connections, all the internet connections are getting redirected into a firewall. Okay, so all ISPs are getting redirected here. So what I wanted to highlight, all incoming traffic coming from internet and all outgoing traffic towards internet, which is redirected via firewall. That is a very important to understand. Okay, so firewall will be the main component or very important component from our infrastructure. Firewall is a very important component. So without firewall, like your data center is not secured. So like into the our flat, like we are saying, like we have a safety door, right? So why we are putting safety door? To enhance the security. So with the same way, firewall will be the component into physical data center, and with the help of that particular firewall, like we can enhance the security of the physical data center. Now we need to understand like why we need a cloud. Everything is running good into the physical data center, right? As per the expectation, we have the complete infrastructure. Okay, all applications are running good. The next question comes like why we need a cloud, why we need a AWS, why we need a Azure, why we need a Google. So let's understand the first scenario. Into the first scenario, my management is asking to deploy here 500 virtual machines. So this is the requirement from the management. So management is saying, okay, let's deploy the 500 server. Okay, we are getting 2 more projects and we would require 500 servers with the high configuration. Okay, so in that scenario, 500 servers deployment will be not possible into existing infrastructure, because we need a more CPU, we need a more memory, we need a more network, we need a more storage as well. So like how we can deploy 500 servers, right? So what we need to do now in such scenarios, we need to extend our physical data center, right? We need to extend, or we need to purchase the physical hardware, storages, physical servers, virtualization, everything we need to purchase, right, as per the business requirement, and then we can deploy our 500 virtual machines, right? But the moment you try to purchase everything, okay, it takes some time, right? Because you are going to build physical data center, and physical data center building will take more time, at least 3-4 months, right? So 3-4 months is a very long time, right, to set up the everything. So instead of physical data center, now people are approaching the cloud platform. So let's take an example, like this is the cloud, this is the cloud platform. Okay, this is Azure cloud, and now Azure cloud is offering multiple services. For example, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, right? So virtual machine comes under infrastructure as a service. So simply what we can do, we can create an account on Microsoft portal. Why? Because it's a public cloud. Anyone can create their account and anyone can deploy the required services, and we need to pay as per the consumption, like electricity, right? We are paying as per the consumption. So what we can do now, we can deploy the 500 virtual machines here without purchasing any hardware, without purchasing any infrastructure, without purchasing any licenses. We can deploy the virtual machine as per the business requirement. And the particular infrastructure can be a connect with the physical data center. So this is the physical data center, this is the Azure infrastructure, and we can have a private connectivity using some site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN or SD-WAN, or we have Azure Express Route service. Azure Express Route, right? So within a 2 hours, within a 3 hours, we can deploy 500 virtual machines. Okay, and we can start our business. We can start, okay, our applications as well, okay, from the Microsoft Azure. Like one more example I wanted to give here, okay, which is very important. Like we are not going to use our physical data center. We are going to deploy required infrastructure into the cloud platform, or we are going to deploy our required services into the Microsoft data center. Like we are using Ola and Uber, right? So particular car, okay, we are taking on a rent, okay, for the particular ride. With the same way, we are going to deploy our services into a Microsoft data center on a rental basis. We are not going to purchase in anything like hardware or infrastructure or network or physical location. No, everything we are going to deploy infrastructure on Microsoft premises, Microsoft cloud. So this is the first scenario, and the particular scenario comes under hybrid cloud. Why hybrid cloud? Because few applications are running or published from on premises, and few applications we are going to publish from the Microsoft Azure. So this is the example of the hybrid cloud. Any question, any doubt till? Any question, any doubt here? Okay, let me open my PPT. Okay, demo. Okay, let's understand the comparison between cloud and on-premises data center again. Okay, this is important part. Can you see the slide? Can you see the PPT here on my desktop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, yeah, into the on-premises, what we discussed, we have multiple components. We have networking, we have storage, we have servers, we have virtualization, we have operating system, we have middleware, we have runtime, we have databases, we have applications, and we have multiple teams to manage a particular component. Network team is managing the networking, right? The storage team is managing the storages. Server team is managing the server. Virtualization team, VMware team is managing the VMware. Then OS team, Windows team, we have Linux team, right? They are managing the operating systems. Then we have middleware team, we have runtime team, we have databases, right? And then we have applications. So when you compare with the cloud, as we discussed, cloud is offering 3 services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So infrastructure as a service, into the infra as a service, Microsoft is offering an infrastructure like networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. No need to manage from our side. Okay, Microsoft is offering network, storage, servers, and virtualization. We are not going to manage anything from the hardware side. So we are responsible for our virtual machine along with the operating system, because from operating system we need to manage OS, we need to do the monitoring, we need to do install the antiviruses, backups, everything we need to manage and maintain from operating system to application. Because from networking to virtualization, complete infrastructure managed by your cloud vendor, and from operating system to application in infrastructure managed by our team only. Then we have platform as a service. So virtual machine comes under infrastructure as a service. And then we have platform as a service, PaaS services, right? So into the PaaS services, from networking to runtime, everything managed by Microsoft. So what is the main difference between infrastructure as a service and platform as a service? Into the infrastructure as a service, operating system managed by us. But into the PaaS services, infrastructure, your operating system completely managed by Microsoft. your OS performance, OS antivirus, OS security, OS patching, OS performance, HA, everything managed by Microsoft. We are not going to manage anything here. So Azure SQL Service, Azure Firewall, Azure Load Balancer, application gateways, VPN gateways, Azure Kubernetes Service, then Red Hat OpenShift Service, all services comes under PaaS services, where we are not going to manage the complete infrastructure. Then Microsoft is offering here SaaS product as well, software as a service. So now in a days, everyone is using Teams, everyone is using OneDrive, everyone is using Outlook, Gmail. So the particular concept comes under, particular service comes under SaaS, because we are not going to deploy any server, right? Just you need to purchase the licenses from Microsoft as per the business requirement, and you need to configure, you need to create a users, passwords, groups, policies, and you can use those products. So Microsoft Intune, Microsoft Dynamics, Office 365 comes under SaaS product. No need to deploy anything. Okay. Microsoft has deployed required infrastructure. We need to purchase the licenses, and those licenses we need to activate. Okay. And then we can use a particular SaaS infrastructure from Microsoft Cloud. Any question till? Any question till? Now this is the first scenario. This is the first case study we have discussed, like why we need a cloud platform, why people are moving towards cloud. But the moment you deal with the on-premises data center, then challenges comes in the picture, like OS upgrade or infrastructure upgrade, hardware upgrade, because now everyone is replacing the hardware every 3 years, right? So into that particular scenario, you need to redeploy the complete infrastructure. So instead of that, simple, we need to extend our data center, okay, with the cloud platform, and then we can have hybrid infrastructure. Let's understand the second scenario. What is the second scenario? Why people are using a cloud platform? So into the second scenario, same data center my client is using, okay, and the client wanted to migrate a complete infrastructure on Azure platform. So into the second scenario, migration scenario. Okay, so this is the migration scenario. Migration from data center to Azure cloud. So why migration? Because now, as we discussed, right, every IT company is replacing their hardware every 3 years, right? So instead of that, now management is asking to migrate the infrastructure on cloud platform, right? This is the first scenario. So what we can migrate here? So we can migrate here multiple services, like we can perform the server migration, we can perform the data migration, we can perform database migration, we can perform website migration, we can perform VDI migrations as well. So there are multiple scenarios into the migration you will get, okay, into the industry. Normally people are migrating servers, databases, data as well. Like if you have, let's see, Word, Excel, PowerPoint files, audio files, video files, then design files, so that particular data also we can keep into a Azure cloud. Website migration, for example, XYZ website is running into the on-prem data center and you wanted to migrate into the cloud, so those services also Microsoft is offering. So after migration, you are going to shut down the physical data center. You are going to shut down the physical data center, because there are multiple scenarios I have seen into industry. Like into the few scenarios that client is saying, like I wanted to demolish the particular building, so I wanted to do the migration from on premises to Azure. So there are multiple scenarios. Okay, now into the industry, people doesn't want to replace the hardware every 3 year or every 5 year. That's why people are migrating the infrastructure from on premises to Microsoft Azure. This is the second scenario. Then let's understand the third scenario, why people are moving towards cloud. Your third scenario will be the greenfield deployment. So what is greenfield deployment? The greenfield deployment is nothing but a fresh deployment for my startup company. Let's take a scenario like I have started my new business, ABC company. Okay, ABC company, and the company wanted to deploy their IT infrastructure, because without IT you will not able to do the business, right? You will require authentication, you require file server, you require websites, right? You need a multiple applications as well, billing applications, right? Monitoring applications. So if you're a startup company, okay, then how you can deploy the physical data center, because it's a very small company, right? And to deploy the physical data center, we need a space, we need a cooling, we need a power, right? We need a physical security as well. So instead of that, instead of physical data center, now people are deploying their infrastructure, okay, into the cloud platform as a greenfield deployment. So greenfield deployment is nothing but it's a fresh deployment, no migration, no extension. Any question till?
What is the main difference in cloud? Like,
The main difference means I'm not getting your question. I'm audible? I'm not getting your question. Hello? Your voice is breaking if you're speaking. Am I audible or not?
yes,
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
hello, Yogesh.
Yeah.
What is the main difference in AWS and Google as compared to the Azure?
Yeah, so main difference means why people are moving towards
Moving to-
Microsoft Azure. Yeah, why
Yeah.
people are moving towards Microsoft Azure,
Yes,
because
yes.
I also seen multiple people are migrating their infrastructure from AWS to Azure. The main reason here is like your costing will be very less compared to AWS and Azure.
Okay.
The cost is a very important now, because everyone everyone is trying to optimize their cost, business cost, right? So that's why Microsoft Azure now is growing compared to other clouds platform.
Okay. Thanks, Yogesh.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the main reason. Okay, people are migrating into a cloud platform, or people are moving towards cloud platform. Okay, compared to other infrastructure. Okay. So let's understand now what is cloud. So cloud is nothing but it's a service. Okay, it's a data center only, and we are going to deploy our required services into a Microsoft data center, right? On a rental basis, we are going to use the services. For example, you are using Ola or Uber, right? So you are not going to purchase your own car. You are going to use Ola, Uber service, okay, for your particular ride, for source to destination and destination to source. With the same way, you are not going to build your data center. You are going to deploy your services into a Microsoft data center, and then from the Microsoft data center, you're going to publish your infrastructure. So this is the main concept of the cloud computing or cloud platform. No need to deploy any physical data center, everything deployed into their premises, like your Gmail. So now everyone is using a Gmail and Outlook, right? Okay, since 10 years, since 15 years. So no need to deploy any server, right? We are using those services. You are using Gmail services via internet, right? On Android phones or on our laptops, on Mac OS, right? We are using. With the same way, no need to deploy physical data center, okay, into our infrastructure, into our premises. We are going to deploy and use a particular infrastructure which is running into a Microsoft data centers. This is the main agenda, or this is the main, okay, importance from the cloud platform. Let's go into the PPT now. So you need to understand what is cloud. So already we have discussed, right, what is cloud. So cloud is nothing but we are going to use the services which is deployed into a Microsoft data center. And next is your cloud deployment models: public cloud, private cloud. So public cloud is nothing but the particular cloud or particular data center is publicly available. So for example, AWS is a public cloud, Google is a public cloud, Azure is a public cloud. So public cloud is nothing but anyone can create an account on their portal, and anyone can use it. Like for example, Gmail is a public cloud only. Outlook is a public cloud. Your Gmail OneDrive, Gmail, your cloud drive or your Microsoft OneDrive, right, is a public cloud only. Right? Anyone can create an account on Gmail. Anyone can create an account on Outlook as well, right? Private cloud is nothing but our data center. Okay, the particular data center which is running into our premises, that is a private cloud. Hybrid cloud, already we have discussed, like two infrastructures we are going to connect. Okay, this is my physical data center, this is my virtual data center, this is my cloud data center, and both data centers are communicating using site to site or SD-WAN or your Azure Express route. Any question here?
No.
So just I have one question.
Yes.
If we talking about the Azure AD
Mhm.
and the synchronizations from on-prem to cloud.
Right, right.
Okay. So just
Mhm.
want to understand the high level. So what is the difference between that, and can we practically will possible to
Yes, yes.
during the.
Practically, yeah. Practically, we are going to do, okay, the particular lab into our Azure Active Directory session. Yeah,
Mhm.
we are going to perform that lab. So what people are doing? People are not creating a users under the Azure Active Directory. They are synchronizing the users, existing users from on-premises Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. Okay, to have a single sign-on concept. So single sign-on is nothing but single ID, single password for multiple applications. Yes,
Uh, Yeah.
yeah.
So from the architecture point of view, if we're
Mhm.
designing any infrastructures, if I want to what are the best the solutions, if I
Mhm.
want to go with the only cloud, or if I want to keep the hybrid solutions, what is the difference between that? If I have the 50 or 100 users on
Ha.
prem, and we have the on prem AD,
Mhm.
and we are thinking on to migrate to the Azure. Okay,
Mhm.
in
So see,
keeping, yeah,
yeah,
in keeping in mind
migration.
for
Yeah.
next 2 to 3 years solution. So what
Mhm.
will the best component means? What
Yeah.
will the best solutions? If we can keep the hybrid versions, or we can
Hybrid
go to the
only. Yeah,
only go
hybrid
to
only
the
recommended.
only.
Yeah, hybrid only recommended because you have some user, okay,
Hmm.
from the on premises as well. This is your on prem. This is your Azure cloud, right?
Hmm.
Into the on premises, like you have, okay, into the on premises, like you have multiple end users, like, okay, end users, laptop, desktops, right?
Hmm.
Then into the on premises you have Windows Active Directory. This is Windows AD. So Windows AD you have, right? And you have multiple applications and database servers as well into the on premises. Okay, multiple applications. This is not only AD, AD along with the DNS. Okay, and all applications servers or database servers are getting joined into a Active Directory. I'm talking Windows AD. Okay,
Okay.
and now you are planning to have Microsoft services like Office 365, right? Office 365 or Intune, Teams. Okay, SaaS services. So SaaS services cannot be integrated directly with the Windows Active Directory. So what you need to do, you should have Azure Active Directory into the cloud, right? And your Azure Active Directory, okay, your Windows Active Directory is now getting synchronized with the Windows Active Directory. Okay, Azure AD, Windows AD into a sync, and then all users, groups, and passwords you are going to synchronize with the Azure AD, and those users you are going to map under the Office 365 product. So this is the hybrid infrastructure.
Okay. From the cost perspective, if I analyze
Mhm.
the here, then we need to pay the double cost, right? For
Why
on
double cost?
premises,
No. Why double cost?
because on premises also I need to purchase the licenses, servers, physical
Yeah.
servers.
Yes.
Right.
Because see, this is a complete depends on your requirement.
Hmm.
If you are saying like you have 50 users into the on premises,
Hmm.
or if you have some infrastructure into the on-premises, then you need to keep that Windows Active Directory into the on-premises, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And if
So
there is no dependency on the AD in on-premises, then
then everything you can migrate on cloud platform. Everything you can deploy on cloud then.
okay,
If there is no dependency.
since we are using the cloud identity, so in
Uh-huh.
that case we need to completely move to the Azure, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, because in on-premises also we need to purchase the CAL license, Windows license, servers, physical, right? And
Yeah.
here in Azure also we need to pay per user per month, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so last point. Okay, let me demonstrate the contents. So this is the AZ900 and 104. Okay, where we are going to start from the very basics. We will discuss the very basics. Okay, which is comes under AZ900. Under 104, we will understand all the services. Okay, along with labs. Okay, scenario based labs. So this is the actual course content, okay, which is offered by Microsoft, okay, which I'm going to cover into the first module. Into the second module, okay, which is advanced topics. Under the advanced topics, now there are multiple components I'm covering, like landing zone, we are covering, then migrations from on-premises to Azure, we are covering, then third-party firewall, designing and deployment on Azure platform, then multiple case studies, multiple projects we are going to cover into advanced topics. So that particular topic we are going to cover into the AZ900 and 104 as well. Okay, then I'm going to demonstrate AWS to Azure migrations, okay, using the Azure Migrate service. This is the cross cloud platform migration. Then Terraform, now nowadays everyone is asking the Terraform. If you see the JD, you will get the Terraform things. This is the requirement from the industry. So we will discuss what is Terraform, how it works, and we will understand like how to deploy infrastructure using the scripts, using the Terraform scripts. Then same script we will push, okay, via Azure DevOps, okay, via CI/CD pipeline. Then I'm going to demonstrate the SQL migration here, okay, and one more lab I'm going to demonstrate, okay, which is recently updated into my content, which is application migration. Application migration, okay, app migration. App migration from infrastructure as a service to platform as a service using Azure Migrate service. Using Azure Migrate service, here we are going to use two PaaS services. We are going to use Azure app service, which is serverless website, and we are going to use Azure SQL service. So Azure SQL service is nothing but it's a serverless database. It's a serverless database, okay, and both services comes under PaaS. This is the PaaS service. This is the PaaS service. So those topics are very important, okay, from the interview perspective, from the knowledge perspective as well. And then we will understand, okay, we will understand like how to prepare for interviews and CVs, okay. So this is the agenda, okay, of my course, okay, from my two modules actually. So into the first module, all the basics, okay, and into the second module, the complete advanced topics I'm covering. Any question, any doubt till?
No thanks, Yogesh. Thank
So you are covered the all Microsoft syllabus.
Yes,
What?
Microsoft curriculum only we are following. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for joining. Yeah, you will get all the details, okay, from the counselor only. Okay.
Okay, Yogesh, thanks for the
Okay,
training
thanks.
also. Yeah.
So complete.
Yes, please.
Complete. It means teaching is depend on the practical.
Yes. All the practical base only. Yeah. It's completely practical based, lab based only. Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah.